Ladies and gentlemen, honorable judges, my dear students, welcome to my class. Good afternoon. Okay, so are you science major or art major? Art major. Since you are all art major, I wish you could share my bewilderment and helplessness when I were assigned to do this. A robot. Wow. So the gentlemen, you do have a look of engineer. Can you give me any suggestion where I could get my help?
I think you can check the internet.
Check internet.
Yes.
Can you tell me why?
Since you told you are art major,
Yeah.
and I don't think your students will have no very much knowledge in this
Yes.
thing.
Yes,
So
you know me. Thank you. Yes, the internet is my first choice, but wow, I realized I know nothing about ABC. I need someone teach me holding my hand, then where to? Thanks to the internet, I got a place. Where is it? Let's check it out. Please listen to the audio clip while taking notes down. Are you ready? Let's start.
Community meetings known as hackerspaces began in Germany over 10 years ago. People share ideas and tools at these gatherings.
The word hacker is most commonly known as someone who breaks into computer systems. The meetings are social gatherings for people who like to work on activities to improve devices, share machines or ideas. Some groups simply call themselves maker spaces to avoid any misunderstanding.
Well done. Now let's check what we have known about a hackerspace. It originated in Germany over 10 years ago, and people can share ideas and tools at these at gatherings. And the word hacker used to mean someone who breaks into computer systems, but now hackerspace is for people who like to improve devices, share machines or ideas, and it is also called makerspace. Very good. The young lady, do you happen to know the Chinese equivalent for hackerspace? Wow, that's nice. It is 创客空间, but even we know about it. What is it? Today we are going to study a text written by Emily Parker, In China, Lessons of a Hackerspace. We try to get the main idea, to appreciate the writing style, and train our critical thinking ability. We have done part of the leading activities to achieve our objectives, and we are going to do a global rating, a detailed rating, and that is your assignment. For global rating, let's interpret the text title together. At the first glance of the text title, In China, Lessons of a Hackerspace, what kind of writing types, what type of text we are studying now? Is it a description, which means we paint something in words, or a narration, we give an account of an event, or an exposition, we try to explain or explore, or an argumentation, we try to convince an argument and argue. Which one? Which time? I got you answer. It's an exposition. Very good. It's an exposition. And then, if you were the writer, what would you cover in the essay? The lady in sweater, please. So you mean the origin. Good. So, how about the girl next to you? Explain what is it. So we can say that is a definition. Very good. So how about you? Oh, good. The development of the hackerspace. And how about you? And examples. Okay. Now we all have paragraph made our expectations. Later, we'll go back to check whether our expectations have all been met by the author. Yes, to see whether I have guessed your mind out. Now, let's move to the next part. Here, 6 figures are in our text. Please, let's do a scheme and scanning exercise. You are going to scan and also to know their roles in the hackerspace. Now, you two will be responsible for Peng Ziyun, and you two will be for Dale Doughty, Chris Anderson, and David Lee, Benjamin Koo, and Pan Hao, please. So when we are doing the scheme and scanning, we scan for the specific information and we scheme their roles in the hackerspace. You have 15 seconds, please start. In terms of the roles we mean here, it could be a tinkerer, which means we do something. And it also could be a critic, which means we comment on something. Or could be a practitioner, which means we are involved in the business. Maybe we are the owner of the business. I got your answers. Okay, so please, as for Peng Ziyun.
She's a tinkerer.
Very good, she's a tinkerer. How do you know that?
Paragraph 2 and paragraph 3.
Okay, and what did she do?
She made a tree that could talk.
Wow, very good. You're a skillful reader. How about Dale Doughty?
Dale Doughty is a Mac magazine co-founder.
Okay, so he is he said something, so he's a critic. Okay, so how about Chris Anderson?
Chris Anderson is Wired ex-editor-in-chief, I think. We
Okay,
think
okay.
he's a critic.
Yes, he's also a critic. How about David Lee?
David Lee is a co-founder of Xinchujian, so he
Okay.
should be a practitioner.
Practitioner, very good. How about Benjamin Koo?
Benjamin Koo is an associate professor of industrial engineering at Beijing Tsinghua University.
Okay, so he's a practitioner or he's a critic? He said something there, so makes him a critic. How about the last one?
The Pan Hao is the Sichuan-born C studio founder.
Yes, and he is the owner of a hackerspace,
Yes.
which makes him to be another practitioner. Well done, thank you. Now, we have known the 6 figures. They play different roles or they have different relationships with the hackerspace. Now let's move to the text organization. Paragraph 1 to 3 will be for part 1, and still you two will be responsible for this part. But you 4 this time will be for part 2, and your 6, we are a large group, you'll be responsible for part 3, 6 to paragraph 6 to 12. And here, let's read for the main idea. Usually, the main idea could be in the first paragraph of each part, or it could also be in the last paragraph of each part. So try to read it out. And for you, I recommend you to go to the last paragraph, because it's rather long, right? With a clue, I've provided you with a clue. Try to follow it. Hi, do you like to have a try, please?
With the help from others in Xinchujian, Peng Ziyun made a tree that could talk.
Very good. Good job. From the help of Xinchujian, Peng Ziyun made a tree that could talk. And one more question. It is a personal story, right? And we call it an anecdote. Can you tell me, why do you think the writer wants to open her essay with an anecdote, with a personal story?
To attract readers.
Good, to attract readers, to awake our resonance, to make us want to read more. Very good. And next part, critics' remarks. But what are they commenting on? Your group, who will be the representative? How about you?
I think these two paragraphs comment the current situation of the maker movement.
Very good. Maker movement. That's good. Maker movement. How about the last one? Long and complicated. So anyone? What you? Yes.
The hackerspaces give Chinese inventors a community.
A community, and in this part, examples have been listed. We see 行车间, see studio, and also some critics' remarks. Now, let's go to some detailed reading to drill some language point. The first word will be tinker. And the lady over there, hi. When you first come across the word tinker, do you think it is a noun or it is a verb? It's okay, you know it's a verb. Good try. But for me, it looks like a noun because it is with er. But when I put tinker into the context, into the sentence, can you read that, please?
Ordinary people tinker with everything from art projects to robots.
Very good pronunciation. Then we know it is a verb and it can be used with. And if we go on reading in paragraph 7, we know we encounter the noun form tinkerer, a person who tinkers. What does that mean? It means to make small changes to something in order to repair it or make it work better. Let's do a translation to check whether we have grasped it or not. Hi, would you like to have a try, please?
Father always tinkers with
Engines. Very good. You do pay attention to the third singular form of the word, T, and also the plural form of engines. That's well done. Good. Let's go back to tinkerer. Here, several synonyms have been listed by our author to make the writing more various. And what are the synonyms? They share the similar senses with tinker, but they are not tinkerer. What are they? Tinkerer in paragraph 4, we have maker. Good. In paragraph 5, we have innovator, inventor. In paragraph 6, we have geek. And in paragraph 7, we have, I got you, yes, innovator. So you see, to make our writing various, the author actually make full use of synonyms. One more word to drill, execute. The lady, do you mind reading the sentence, please? This one. We execute what other people design. Thank you. And here are 3 definitions from Longman Dictionary. Which one could be the best appropriate explanation for the word execute here? Yes, that is B. To do something that has been carefully planned. One more word. Which is execute in Chinese this time? 实施. Good, 实施. Now let's do the translation together, please. This job involves drawing up and executing a plan of nursing care. Very good. Thank you very much. Now, let's move to the next step to appreciate the writing style. As we have discussed, the writer is writing an exposition. And to write an exposition, usually there are 5 methods to be employed: illustration, division and classification, comparison and contrast, cause and effect, and definition. But our author mainly employs two ways. The first one is examples, so that is illustration. The second is definition. Now we have many examples listed. And for the definition part, hackerspace, a brand new idea. The author explains that, defines hackerspace. Where is it? Yeah, read it, please. Very good. And she provides us with her definition. How about maker? We know maker, but not this maker. Maker, Dale Doty defines it as someone who builds, creates, or hacks physical materials, whether food, clothing, or gadget. One more, Chris Anderson. What is the definition provided by Chris Anderson? Oh yeah, read it please.
A maker as someone who builds, creates, or hacks physical materials, whether food, clothing, or gadgets.
No, that's not Chris Anderson. Chris Anderson is the web generation, creating physical things rather than just pixels on screens. Well done. Okay, let's go back to our expectations. Have the author all met your expectation? Everything has been mentioned? Maybe yes, maybe no. That will be your homework. Your oral presentation will be based on paragraph 11. In paragraph 11, the author writes, some observers see China's maker movement as yet another instance of countries' tendency to produce shanzhai or copycat goods, which means they doubt the social significance and they believe the company in China is copying for copy's sake, and the imitation in maker movement may lead to copycat goods. We know about that. However, as a practitioner, Pan Hao disagrees. He argues the imitation period is temporary and it will lead and it will migrate to next stage to develop the next great groundbreaking technology like WeChat and Huawei. They all predecessors, but they excel their successors. Okay, now it's your turn. Please do a research about the current situation of hackerspaces in China by yourself. Like, how many hackerspaces are there in China? Where are they? They are in big cities or in small towns? And how many people are involved? Try to do the research yourself. And please to reflect on the two directions of the imitation and their effects, social effects as well. And you will do a 3-minute presentation next time to report to us. Based on your report, you are going to write something. This will be your version in China lessons of a hackerspace. Please try to start with an anecdote which can make this kind of exposition closer to your readers, and also try to employ the writing methods like illustration, use examples like definition and division, classification, comparison, contrast, cause and effect when necessary. Remember, you can either define it yourself or we can borrow definitions from others. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attending today. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Floor. Let's hear from Professor Lee with questions.
Okay. You did something like what you call global reading. Also, you did something as what you call detailed reading. So I just wonder, what should you do and what did you actually do in detailed reading?
You mean in my practical?
No, I mean in your understanding, what should we do in detailed reading?
Okay, in detailed reading, usually I try to deal with the linguistic difficulties, such as the new words, to explain the new words to my students and help them to grasp how to use them into the practical contents. This is number one. Number two, in detailed reading, I try to let them to know when we say the reading in between sentences. They know the thematic meaning of each paragraph or between the sentences, to know them better, to understand it. And also they could think whether they agree with the author or they disagree, and also share their opinions.
Then what's the difference between your detailed reading and global reading? In global reading, you also have to judge, to evaluate the author's idea or something like that.
Okay, in my global reading, as I have designed, I ask my students to do more skimming and scanning. They scan for, to be frank, I don't think I have asked them to judge because they, such as the critics, they know they say something. So when experts say something, I think they are critics. So they know their roles. So I think this belongs to global reading instead of detailed reading.
You talk about skinning and scanning.
Yes.
I was confused, in fact, by so many of you using scanning and skinning. When you ask a student to scan and skim, and you ask them to find some person and find what they are doing, so which is scanning and which is skimming?
Okay, so scan is for specific information. For example, Benjamin Ku, where is it? Peng Ziyun, where is it? So this is scanning, and this is scan. And to skim means to read for the general idea. And I ask my students to read the first paragraph 3, then they know, oh, Peng Ziyun did something. She made a tree with the help. So I think this is skimming.
Okay, and also there is a part in your lesson that is called interpretation of the text titles.
Yes.
Now, would you please look at the titles?
Yes. In
China, lessons of hackerspace. What does this lesson refer to?
Okay, to be frank, this is the biggest difficulty when I was preparing for the lessons. The lessons here, in my opinion, it has 2 levels. In the narrow context, we can say it means what as a tinkerer can learn from a hackerspace like Peng Ziyun. She learned to make a tree. However, in the wider context, I think the lessons here refers to the social context or the social effects of a hackerspace. What a hackerspace has brought to China. The government has been more interested in the maker movement. Maker movement happens in hackerspaces. So hackerspaces are a very important part in maker movement. Now the government has been more interested in these places because they believe more talent can come out of the hackerspace. And also some observers, they see hackerspaces as another place to producing copycats. So the lessons here, in my opinion, the wider context refers to the social effects or the social content of hackerspace.
And what's the difference between lessons of the hackerspace and lessons for a hackerspace?
So lessons
of a hackerspace, as it is in the title.
Okay.
And also, it is also possible that we have lessons for a hackerspace.
So lessons of a hackerspace, we can understand it as what we can learn from a hackerspace. But lessons for a hackerspace, that is how we can guide a hackerspace to develop better.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.